Please welcome to the stage actor Julian Lerner, actor Angelina Palmer, editor Jim Helton, writer Candace Little, and writer and director Josh Victor Rothstein.
I want to move just a little bit closer.
So you guys know the drill. You ask the questions and they will answer them. As always, you can tweet your questions to hashtag SBFF. We have lots of talent up here. Do we have any questions? You have to raise your hands. Yes, sir. Yes.
Tell us about the casting.
Can you explain the casting process to us?
It was very good. Don't you think? In addition to being good, we got very lucky, which has to happen when you're casting. Keala Seidel was the first person Candace and I sort of wrote a role for her based on shared experiences from our tense childhoods and sort of tapping into certain themes that we all were interested in exploring. And so once we had Keala, it was a question of trying to find two actors that we felt could hold court with her, right? Just in terms of their acting chops. But then obviously you're casting and trying to find some resemblance, which is always important. But the acting and the ability to hold court, she has such intensity and such a gravity to her. And so Angelina Palmer over here I have to say, had not done much acting or any acting before. Very little bit. So how amazing is that? And so we said, wow, we saw photos of her and we said, she looks great, but can she act? And sure enough, we did some rehearsals and she was incredible, as you saw. And then Julian was a little bit harder to find. We were looking around and looking at different boys, and then we met Julian. And Julian's just immensely talented, and we did a lot of one-on-one work, in particular the bathroom scene where he really had to emote. It's a very subtle thing, and we worked on that, and he just blew us away. So, a hand for Julian.
More questions? Yes, ma'am. Why did the daughter look? Why is that part of the story? Oh, okay. So the question is about, actually he jumped in. So the question is, why did you have the story work so that he decided to jump in and then say that he had fallen, or the girl say he had fallen?
Yeah, I'll speak to a little bit, and then Jim, I know you have thoughts on it too. The idea was that, our young actor there, Ruby, her character, really wanted to leave, and she was pushed into a corner and desperate, and sometimes when people are desperate, they find creative solutions. And so, there was a tension between she and her brother, and the brother really looked up to her and was suggestible, presumably. And the idea was to come up with a way for Ruby to leave and manipulate. And her brother was the pawn in that case. And so we debated in the edit a lot about how to show that and how much to show of that. How much on camera, how much we would want to show to an audience, how much we wanted you to just infer. And so hopefully we struck the right balance of that.
He was kind of our sacrificial lamb in a lot of ways. It was also a way for her to kind of punish her mum, because I think we talked about this a lot, where this kind of thing has probably happened a lot to them, where they've gone out on these excursions and Mum's gone off drinking and Ruby's just been the one that looks after Kai. So this is kind of her way of being like, see, you turn around, you don't take notice, and this is what happens. So it's kind of her way, yes, to get out of the situation, but also to kind of stick it to her mother in a way as well.
And further, when Mom finds out about it in the bathroom, I mean, a beautiful part in the writing is that she doesn't go further with it, you know, because it's they're tit for tatting quite a bit up until that point, and Mom realizes that she's losing her daughter, and it's a really beautiful moment.
Thank you. More questions? Yes, ma'am. She liked the way you wrote the story.
Thank you.
Another question? Yes, sir. Oh, the fun questions. I'll let you, so what did you shoot it on? And if you want to answer, how much did it cost?
Under $1 million is the first one. The camera was worth under $1 million. No, an epic red dragon, 2 epic red dragons, and under 20,000.
And what was the location? Now they're just yelling things out.
Location was the question. All shot in Brooklyn at various locations throughout Brooklyn, except for the underwater shot, which is a pool in New Jersey at my mother-in-law's house. Which I think Julian was very excited to do. Is that true, Julian? Yeah.
Yes, very.
Angelina wanted to jump in the pool, I think. But, yeah.
Yes.
So the pool was in New Jersey?
Yeah, so
I
that's what,
sensed it was a little off. Yeah.
yeah. We're doing New Jersey film festivals as a result now.
Okay, that's good. Have fun with that. More questions? Yes, ma'am. So are there any thoughts of expanding this to a larger story?
Yeah, definitely. That's the intention, is to take this as, we think of this as a proof of concept to a larger story, to this world. We think there's a lot more to be said about this world of tension, and as I hope you guys felt, that the film doesn't end there. It's not a perfect ending, but sometimes families can come up with solutions to just get them to the next moment. So, yeah, this is a slice of life of a larger story that Candace and I are currently writing the feature script version of that.
We have time for a few more questions. I don't think we've given any questions to our actors over there. Does anyone have any questions for them? Because I'm going to start asking if you don't. Do I see any hands? Yep. Yes, sir. So 2 parts. First of all, this guy likes the fact that the woman's the villain and not the guy. So we got that part down. But he wanted to know, why did you make the mother kind of the heavy character in this, the bad character, as opposed to the father? What was the thought behind that?
I'll keep it short so we can have time for the kids' questions. But I think, to your point, it's not a typical position that you see depicted. And we wanted to strike a balance with her, that even though she was troubled and misguided, she still had good intentions. There was an intensity to her, and maybe she was overbearing and she was doing it the wrong way. But as she sort of says on the walk out to the pier, she's trying to instill into these kids something that she thinks they're not getting in their lives. She's not going about it the right way. And as many of us know as parents, you know, we all do that. Maybe not as extreme as she's doing it, but we all often want to just assert our ideas and our, you know, lessons onto our kids. But, you know, I guess the lesson to a degree in here is that you can't always just assert your own life lessons onto a child. They have to have their own experiences. So, you know, we wanted to play with that complexity. And, you know, hopefully there's also a bit of redemption for her at the end as well, where you see, as someone pointed out, she does resist in the end, sort of taking that bait and escalating. So, you know, hopefully there's a sense that things won't be perfect, but there's a sense that they're learning how to, you know, survive this complexity.
So Twitter saves the day. We have questions for Angelina and Julian here. What's the experience been like for you, and was it hard to play these characters?
It was not hard to play these characters. Actually, really, really fun.
In my opinion, the character wasn't really that hard to play. Because in ways, the way she acts is like kind of like me, but a little more distant to her mother. Like, I'm very close to my mom, but like her facial reactions were very much like ones I use a lot. So yeah.
And your mom's much nicer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. What was the hardest part, and what was the best part for you of the filmmaking? Or one or the other?
The best part was probably jumping in the ocean. Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah.
Probably the hardest part for me was having to like not yell, but like talk rude in a rude way, not really rude, but to another actor. Like, it like hurts me myself to talk to someone that way, but I mean, it's do what you gotta do. And for me, the best part was probably the diner scene, because I love drawing and I got to draw actually, and after I got to eat my own sundae, so.
You guys win. Thank you, Josh Victor Rothstein. Candace Little, Jim Helton, Angelina Palmer, Julian Lerner.